Whilst much of the debate today will rightly focus on the rationale, the execution and the objectives of the recent airstrikes against Houthi rebel military infrastructure, I want to begin with some comments on who the Houthis really are, because I have been deeply disturbed by the comments that have been made in our national conversation, somehow painting them as a progressive movement, freedom fighters, or some kind of legitimate representative body for the Yemeni people. This is so disturbing because not only are people not taking the time to educate themselves, but the Houthis don't deny who they are. It is out there for all to see. Their rallying cry and flag is quite explicit. Death to America, death to Israel, a curse upon the Jews. This is the words that this group puts on their flag. This is their rallying cry, and every action the Houthis take is with this in mind, with hatred in their hearts. And yet we see people, often well-meaning people, and I have to say sometimes concerning, I have even seen people within this house make suggestions otherwise, that Yemen has freedom fighters on its shores, and that somehow because Yemen, they claim, was a British colony, the Houthis should be seen as anti-colonial freedom fighters. But unlike southern Yemen, North Yemen was never a British colony. After the collapse of the Ottoman Empire, North Yemen was ruled by the Imamate, a theocratic polity led by the religious leader of the Zaydi Shia. The Houthis offer no vision for Yemen's future. They seek a return to the past, free from ideals such as equality, women's rights and democracy. What inspiration they do draw from the modern world comes from the Ayatollah and the Islamic revolutionary movement of Iran. We can trace their violent rise to what was initially a moment of hope for Yemen. We all remember the Arab Spring back in 2011, when Yemenis together they rose up and they toppled the dictatorship. But employing the Ayatollah's handbook, the Houthis initially pledged themselves to cooperation in building a new Yemen, sending delegates to the national dialogue, building a deliberate facade where they were working actually to reject the future that young Yemenis dreamt of. Armed by Iran, the Houthis blocked the 2014 referendum on the introduction of a new democratic constitution, and they began a military campaign of conquest and repression. Now, whilst it is easy for us to judge from afar and pass judgments, the people of Yemen are the witnesses of their crimes.